To make a card for a friend of mine. So let's get started. What I did already was I just pre-cut with this die, and I'll have a supply list on my blog, just out of some white cardstock, and I'm going to stamp my main image there. I'm using this stamp from Stampin' Up. It's an older stamp. And what I already stamped also was on my Stamp-A-Majig sheet, so I can see and line this image up onto this die cut. So I'm going to line it up where I want it. I'm going to stamp with some StazOn ink. So line up my image, put my jig in place, butt it up to the corner, move the transparency, butt up my stamp to the corner, and just press straight down. Okay, and there's my stamped image. Now to color this in, I'm going to use my markers and a blender pen. So what I like to use is just an acrylic block, and I have, these are the in colors from Stampin' Up. So we're just going to scribble with the brush tip onto my acrylic block, and that'll give me a little palette to pull from. So I'm going to start with these few colors first. So I have a little palette there. And now I'm just going to use my blender pen. And then when you're done with one color, just scribble on some scratch paper and then go on to the next color. Okay, then for the whipped cream, I'm just using my crumb cake ink pad, and I just pressed on it a little bit to get some of the ink pad onto the lid, and I'm going to use that as a palette to pick up some of the color and to lightly color in a little bit more. Okay. And to ground these, I'm going to do the same with gray ink. So again, I just squeeze it a little bit to get some ink on the lid. And now that's my palette. So scribble off. Just get a little bit of that here. And just lightly underneath each one of these. Okay, so there is our colored in image. See that? And I'm just going to lightly sponge around the edges with the crumb cake ink and a little sponge dauber. So that's our main image. I'm going to set that aside. Get all these markers out of the way. Now for the card base, I wanted to do a little bit of embossing. So I have a crumb cake card base. I have Pool Party cardstock, which was cut half an inch smaller in both directions, and then another piece of white cardstock that was just cut a 1/4 inch smaller than that Pool Party, so a layer just like that. And just to add some interest, I'm going to use my embossing folder. This is from Stampin' Up, and I'm just going to emboss this white cardstock through my Big Shot to get these vertical lines on it. So I'm going to use that washi tape again just to help hold it in place, because I want these lines to be vertically straight. I don't want the cardstock to be crooked. So I'm just going to put a little piece of tape there, and now I'm just going to run this through my Big Shot. Okay, so here's my embossed white cardstock. So that's going to layer just like that. So I'm going to go ahead and adhere that down. And this will go here near the top. And I just want my sentiment here. So I'm going to use crumb cake cardstock again. And Versamark ink. And I have this Thinking of You sentiment. We're going to stamp that in the Versamark. I'm going to stamp it here on the crumb cake. Okay, so to help that pop a little bit more, I'm going to emboss it with clear embossing powder. Okay, so now that's heat embossed, this top one. You can see the difference of just stamping it in Versamark versus heat embossing with the clear. So I'm going to cut this out. And I want this to go across here, so let me mark it with a pencil where it will be centered, or close to center at least. Okay, so this will go right about there. I wanted to add some ribbon. Normally I would add twine, but I'm trying to use ribbon a little bit more. So I got Pool Party ribbon here just to see if I would like that. And that's what coordinates color-wise. Or I got this crochet trim I thought I might like to use. I think I like the crochet better. So I'm going to just wrap it around and give myself a little extra so I can tie a little knot in it. Okay. So I'm just going to go ahead and tie the knot. So I think that's good. So I'm going to go ahead and adhere this layer down. Okay, so now I'm going to put my sentiment here. And I think I'm going to trim it down a little bit more so it lines up. Okay, let me just trim this a little bit. And there's our card. I hope you enjoyed it, and go ahead and check out my blog for supply list, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.